Rain, I have the amazing Stephanie STARR with me today. Stephanie is an international speaker, identity and wealth and business mentor, and the founder of Soul Biz. Welcome, Stephanie. Super excited to have you with me here today.
It's an honor to be here with you. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, so let's give the viewers really great information about how you do things behind the scenes because people know you for your business, and for those who don't know you, they're about to get to know you. But what's something that people close to you know about you that most people don't?
Hmm. Regarding my business or my personal day-to-day lifestyle?
Personal day-to-day stuff.
Okay, well, I'm a pretty regimented self-care first person. The first hour of every morning is mine. I mean, I can a day in my life, the second I wake up, it's holy shit, I'm so grateful for my home, my silk pillowcase, my king size bed, my beautiful life I get to live, not waking up to an alarm clock and going to a job I hate. I wake up when my body wakes up. I have my warm lemon water. And then I have my homemade broth and I do my sitting in the sun and my meditating and my stretching. And it's not until all of that's done that I can touch my phone and the world can start to have at me with DMs and emails and all that stuff. I have a high protein meal and then I'm off to the gym. I have my daughter week on, week off. If I have my daughter, we're out the door at 8. I drop her at school at 8:30 and I'm straight to the gym.
I
So
love this.
then
I
I
don't I don't think I don't
lift
think I can want this
weights.
more.
Then I go get my pump on
Yes,
and
yes.
I actually, between my sets in the gym, I'm checking up on private client messages in WhatsApp, responding to them. Because if they're Eastern, it's already like close to noon for them. I will get my content posted out between my sets. So by the time I leave the gym, at the end of my workout, I go on the hydro bed massage and I do another 10-minute meditation. And then I do my stretch and I leave. So by 10 o'clock in the morning, I've had my lemon water, I've had my gut healthy broth, I've meditated twice, I've stretched, I've worked out, I've got made sure that all my clients are taken care of and all their questions are answered. I've checked all of my emails and my content is out for the day. And now it's 10 a.m. and I'm walking out the gym and all that is already done.
Love it.
So,
Love it. This
yeah.
is why you're the queen and the star that you are, because this is how things get done. So tell me, for somebody listening to this, like, oh my God, that's a lot of stuff. I can't do that all at once. Has it always been this way? What was the major shift for you? What made you do this for you?
So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of I can be really on top of things for a while and then really not. And then I get back on that horse, like just throw perfection and high expectations of perfection right out the window, especially if you're a perimenopausal woman. Like, fuck, you just gotta stop doing that to yourself. Right?
Love it.
So, um, so I was really good at taking care of myself. I've been pretty good. I mean, I was raised by a mother that owned a health food store, right? Like it was these things are in my roots. Um, I've gone on and off of it, but I would say that this really, really started when I left a pretty toxic relationship December 2023. And for a couple years there, I wasn't giving my business the love that it desired because, well, frankly, this man didn't want me all over social media. He was very wealthy, very controlling, and very like, fuck your little 40K a month business. I need you to focus on my multi-million dollar business. Big mistake. Don't ever let your own thing go to the wayside for any man's dream. Do not do that, ladies. And so
No.
when I left that relationship, I knew I was in full rebuild mode. You know, great, I had a 6 carat ring and a Chanel bag, but like my nervous system was shot, my confidence was in the toilet. I was like, I'm probably never going to trust men again. I had to figure out how to show up to my business and be a mom. And I knew that the only way to rebuild from there was to make self-care a number one priority. So I haven't drank alcohol in years, not a sip, not even a sip of wine with the best steak. Alcohol had to go. That Christmas, New Year's, no alcohol. I knew like I can't afford to be drinking depressant when life's already hard, right? I knew I had to take care of my gut health and my nervous system, like number one, because I couldn't care for my daughter and my business if I didn't get that figured out, right? So
Yes.
that's when I started working out. I hired a personal trainer and I didn't start working out so that I could have pipes. I started working out for the guys, they needed the dopamine hits. I'm a neuroscience nerd, so I understood I need gut health, I need rest, I need good dopamine or I'm not going to
Yes.
rebuild, right? So going to the gym, getting into the gym and doing like the morning, the lemon water, the broth, that's just taking care of my gut health. The meditating was taking care of the nervous system. The going and working out was to get those happy dopamine and serotonin going again, right? And the beautiful domino effect of that was that because I was working out, I was now hungry and tired. Because when you're
Mhm.
really depressed, I don't know if you've been there, you don't feel like eating, you can't
Yes.
sleep, alcohol, you're waking up at 3 in the morning. Like you
Yeah.
just send yourself on a roller coaster. So I want to say that it was this beautiful conscious choice. It was pure survival mode, man. It was like basics, gut health, nervous system,
Yes.
sleep, eat, not
Yes.
snapping at my kid, able to be present and able to fucking focus on getting some content out there to rebuild
Yes.
my brand. I didn't have to rebuild from zero. I had already built, a lot of trust in an audience. But when you don't really show up to it for a couple of years and you're being swept off first class to 5-star whatever, like I think I became unrelatable because who they loved was the single mom that came from built it up from nothing.
Mhm.
I lost a lot of
Yeah.
followers when I became the spoiled fiance that didn't really have to make it grind.
Right, right. And I'm sure you attracted some other people as well. Like
Yeah,
I like that word unrelatable. I guess they would see you as unrelatable anymore because they were looking up for you, looking up at that, what you were doing, what you were building, and then all of a sudden it's like, this is a completely new identity.
totally. But then, plot twist, when I left him, I mean, we were technically homeless for 5 days. My daughter went to her dad's, luckily, but I slept at a friend's house for 5 days till I could find us a townhouse to move into. I mean, it was a pretty traumatic thing, right? And so now it's like chapter two of the rebuild story because now I had to rebuild my business with CPTSD, which took a year. Like my actual psychologist like diagnosed it, and it's like a year later, and I'd be like, I don't know, I just have this brain fog, and I don't even remember what I walked into the room, and she's like, again. You
I,
have CPTSD. Your brain has changed. Let's throw some perimenopause in there. Yeah, I bet you walk into a room and don't know why you're there.
yeah.
Right?
But you know what I love about your story is that was not a period after that sentence. It was not like, oh, yeah, well, I have perimenopause and I have CPTSD. Aw, you were like, all right, what's some shit that I can do? I
Yeah.
can go to the gym. I can control that. I can control how much water I drink. I can control alcohol. And you took, this is what I'm talking about. Even for those who are listening who are like, but I can't, I'm depressed. You have one thing you can do. I tell my clients, if you're depressed, make it a goal to just sit and get back in your bed. Like make that a goal because you just need that one tiny bit of effort to start changing that story, to start saying, I can do this. Okay. All right. I accomplished something for the day. And I love that about your story because it was like you could have had every reason to be like, oh, well, poor me. And you were like, no, gotta go back to basics. I have my daughter to take care of, I have my life to rebuild, I have my clients and I have my purpose, soul biz, like there's so much more that gave you that something to start rebuilding. And that's why I think you rebuilt it so quickly. Like it was like I got to prioritize myself in order to have everything else follow. And I think that that's one of the things is that people focus so much on like the new strategy, the new next shiny object. You were like, I love that word, basics, basics.
Yeah.
Like you can have the best nootropic, you can have the best massage, you can have it does never even come close to sleep, nutrition, hydration, workouts. Like it can't even compare. I so love that about your story. So obviously you've changed a few identities. What does having it all mean to you now compared to years ago?
Oh my gosh, I've lived so many lives and been so many different identities. Like, I mean, when I was a dancer, Stephanie was in the change room reading Dr. Wayne Dyer and Marianne Williamson and like trying to eat vegan and going to yoga every morning. And then Demonica would get on stage and be like going up to like death metal in like leather and chains. And like Demonica was very brave. She could get up and put on a show in front of hundreds of people, but Stephanie was like, and so when I came into starting to have to show up online, I remember being nervous to start going live. And my coach was like, why? What are you so afraid of? And I was like, they're all going to figure out that I was a stripper in my past and they're going to cancel me and the pitchforks are going to come at me. And she was like, ooh, that's what makes you different. That's why you're so resilient and brave and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, how did you do it? Like I was literally like, girl, I used to show the whole world my vagina. We go full naked in Canada. And I'm like, I could get up on a stage in a bar of 300 people and show them my vagina, but I can't fricking post on Facebook. Like, this is what is happening. And she was
Yeah.
like, well, how did you do that? And I'm like, well, it wasn't me. It was Demonica. So she was like, okay, create an alter ego to show up on Facebook. So Stephanie STARR was born. And I was like, oh, Stephanie STARR can show up online and whatever, right? So I started to learn and get really interested in this, like, why when I create this identity, like I can just shift into that identity and I can show up. That's what started my obsession with identity work,
I love
right?
it.
So that identity, and so I've lived many identities. To answer your question, there was a time when having it all would have meant 100K months, the Chanel bag, the fancy car, the Four Seasons, all the things. And I had that life experience with the ex. And then when I left him, and he was very controlling, and I know everyone throws the word narcissist around, but that one ticked every box. I needed that experience because now having it all is a calm nervous system, a healthy gut, a nice, healthy flow of money coming in that feels juicy and spacious and safe. But I'm not willing to push myself past I have zero desire to work more than 3 hours in a day. Like, I just don't. I will not, right? You've got me from like 11 to 3 tops in a day. That's where I'm willing to work.
Yeah.
All the rest of my hours in a day are mine and my daughter's. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't work to live, or I don't live to work. I do
Yes.
a little bit of work, and I don't even think of it as work. But so now I'm like, you know what? I mean, I've had 60, almost $70,000 months lately, and that's great. But it's not even about that. It's the fact that I lay around in bed, when I don't have to get up to an alarm clock. I can lay and just revel in
No.
my life. I have this spaciousness and this freedom. And to me, having a good relationship with my daughter just turned 13. Her required reading for the summer is the Four Agreements and Nonviolent Communication, because I'm like, I don't give a shit about your math grades. Learn emotional intelligence. Learn
Yes. Oh my
intelligence.
God.
I don't give a
Am we
shit.
related? Are we related somehow? Because I kid you not, my kid is 7.5, and I'm already like planting seeds, and like we're looking like motivational stuff, like not motivation, discipline and stuff like that. We're already talking identity, and I'm already planting seeds. I'm like, you want to, because he's like learning how to read now. I'm like, I'm going to pay you to read, but I'm going to give you the books. And it's the same thing. I'm like, you're never going to know what Pythagorean theory means, but you're going to know finances, and you're going to know
Yes.
Dr. Joe Dispenza, and you're going to know Alex Hormozy. Like all this stuff is already in place. I love that you said
Yes.
that.
Oh my
Yes.
God. We are totally soul sisters. So for me, I have my daughter 1 week on, 1 week off. And I remember when that started, so many moms would be like, that must be so hard. And now I'm like, I got the best parenting deal you can get. She gets a well-rested mom that genuinely misses her so much all the time and just wants quality time with her. So the week that I have my daughter, I have bi-weekly coaching calls. I don't have, she gets all of me. She gets all, I get to make my relationship with my daughter so quality. We sit, we play guitar together, we paint together, we go into nature together. Like, and to me, that's having it all. The fact that I can drop everything and prioritize, like, everything gets to be prioritized around, like, taking care of myself and having a quality relationship with my daughter and my aging parents who are now 80, that gets to be my priority.
Yes.
And I've created a business that supports that. I've created a business that supports my creativity and my love for self-expression, my love for helping people, my love for neuroscience and identity. And like, I just I feel really lucky every day. Like I've hit a jackpot that I
That's,
really get to,
yes.
and so
Yes.
it used to be like, oh, I needed to hit 100K months and I needed to have this fancy lifestyle. First of all, I realized I was looking at women who didn't have children, who weren't single moms, who maybe had partners paying the bills. And I realized, why am I trying to compare myself to or live this life like or reach these limits of these people that don't even know what it's like to have to put a little girl first? Right? So I
Yeah.
think for everyone, like having it all is such a unique thing. I don't think anybody's going to have the same answer to that. And I don't think you should. I think that
Yeah.
we all need to get really, really real about, like, for me, being able to afford really good, high quality organic food. Even the bones I make my broth with are from 45 minutes down the road from a farm, right? Like, I get to be picky about the water we drink, the food that we eat. I don't buy toxic anything. Everything in our house there's
Yeah.
no polyester here.
Same.
There's no Teflon
Same.
here. You know what I mean?
Same, girlfriend. I
And
swear we're related.
and you know what?
It's
I
the
went
same
from
thing.
living in a 7 bedroom, $2.3 million home with the ex, but my nervous system was shot. There wasn't peace in my life. And now I live in 1,000 square feet of complete bliss and
Peace.
peace and harmony. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I swear, and I think like that like you said, first of all, that's different for everyone. Mine is actually very similar to yours. I have a 7-year-old boy. We wake up when we wake up, and luckily he is a night owl like me, because my husband goes to bed at god awful like 8 or 9 at night, and he wakes up at time that makes me nauseous to even think about getting up. And then my kid and I are like getting up slowly, and I do the same thing. Like I wake up and I'm just like, is this real? I am like, I'm with him. I get to be with him. I get to set my schedule. And so again, like you start listing what's important to you and you create that around you. But one thing you said is what I want everybody to hear is I created a business to support that. And that's what I want people to hear, because we get caught up in the building and wanting this and wanting that and the next shiny object, the next level, next identity, right? All of that is fun. But what am I doing it for? Because just like for you, my life is my family. And I choose to be with my son. I choose to want to be with him. I do it a little differently. I work 5 hours a day, and that's the same thing. Like that's my brain working, and it's trained now. We work from here to here, and it's like after, like I don't even have to look at time. I know exactly by my brain power, like, oh, I think we're done. Like we're done for the day. right? And now I entered the new identity, which is going to be very interesting because now I'm not even setting work hours like that. I'm going for blocks of time, and when that's done, I get up and I go. And it's going to be very interesting to see the transition from my brain. But I want everybody to hear that business is there to build the life that you want. But if you've never done the exercises, for listeners, if you've never done the exercise, what is it that I actually want? First of all, your brain is first going to jump to everything you don't want. That's fine, flip it. What's the opposite? Second, first time you list everything, it's going to be what you think you should want. And then as you reiterate, you're going to get to create what is it that I actually want, because business and money are there to create the freedom to express ourselves, to be present with our families, and to create the life on our terms, the way I see it, at least. And that, on our terms, that part is different for everyone.
Absolutely. And I think it's a whole different level for females because I mean, I created a cycle planner for my clients where it's like, hey, did you know, like, when you're in your menstrual phase or premenstrual, like that's actually if you're feeling a little bitchy, go dissect your funnels, go dissect your content, take that criticalness, and instead of that being critical of your partner or your kids or yourself, that's the time to look at your business and be critical of like, hey, we need to tweak this on the sales page. We need to like utilize that power, right? And then when we're in our follicular phase, we tend to be more creative. So I'm like, like consider batching all of your content while you've got that flow and you're channeling and you're like I could create 80 pieces of content for like there's like a 4 or 5 day window for me where I'm just a creating machine and it doesn't feel like work. This is
Right.
just flowing, right? And then in our ovulatory phase is the best time to be like on stages doing things like that because we're naturally magnetic. So like utilize that, right? And honoring that. And so I think it's important for women, especially if we're transitioning, like I'm just starting to go into perimenopause, women in menopause, if you can create a business that you can work around and utilize your cycle, because your cycle, your moon phases is not a detriment. It's something you can learn to utilize in business. It's an extra superpower that we have. The whole work 9 to 5, 24-hour cycle, that's for the men. They're like the sun, right? They come up, they provide, they go down. We're the moon. We're going through the four phases. And so I'm also very passionate about helping women create something that can honor that, right? Like I would never coach, a 27-year-old with no children the same way as a 45-year-old with two
Oh,
little kids
yes.
managing perimenopause.
Yes.
And one's a projector in human design and one's a generator. And it's just like, the whole one size fits all, throw that shit right out the window. Like we have
Yes.
to get
Oh,
really honest, really,
yes.
really honest with ourselves about like that might look fun to have, be have all these private clients and running masterminds and you can see that this woman is making millions doing it, but like, does that actually work for you?
Does it
Right?
actually work for you? I love that. So I've heard and I've looked into the whole cycle thing. I personally lose all of that when I work out regularly, and right now I'm in the muscle building phase.
Yeah.
I lose all that. I turn into like a little man. I'm like on a 24-hour cycle. Like it has no
Wow.
difference. But goes back to what you were saying is, or what we were saying is, you have to get to know you. You have to get to know what works for you. And if
Yeah.
you notice these little things, they matter a lot. This is why I love that you're mentioning perimenopause so much, because I talk about high performance for women over 40, because it's like a particular species running in a particular way, and all the information out there is for a 25-year-old male body. Like, cold plunge, like that is one thing I actually do notice around my cycle. I tell women, like, there is a time for cold, but when you're like hating going into that cold and you just know it's not for you, that's the moon cycle, that's the cycle, that's the hormones, that's where you need to honor that. Same with fasting. It's like you can't just jump into fasting without knowing your body. You need to know so much about your body. And again, that's what we're talking about here is like learning what your body is saying, how it's communicating, how it's changing every week. Is it changing every week? What is changing? And then the most important question is, does that work for you? Oh, I love that question. Does
And
that
does it
work?
still work? The way I did things 2 years ago, I'm starting to realize that like it's okay to let go of what worked a year ago, and it's okay to come to a place and realize I've gone through phases where I love masterminds. I love having that collaborative, that group, that community. I love watching day one, they're complete strangers. It's 3 years later and they're like on a trip together and some collaborating on an offer. And like I love the sisterhood and the community. But now I'm not running as many masterminds because I'm actually really loving the really deep one-on-ones. I'm loving the year-long containers. Like I love the people that are in for a year. I'm like, you want to really do some seriously deep work. We're not going to do it in 6 months.
Yeah.
Work with me for a year. We can build the business and do the deep identity work. Like, let's be honest about the phases that we're at. And from a business perspective, when a client says, I want to create this, I'm like, why? Why? I'll keep asking why until we get to the real reason, because a lot of the times it's
Yes.
not even their own why, right? So what's actually lighting you up? Because if running low ticket group programs feels like work now, like if you're just doing it because, oh well, because that brings in 10 grand a month, like you will make 30 grand a month if you go do the thing that you're actually really excited to do.
Yep.
Right? being
Yep.
willing being
Yep.
willing to let go of old, because I see women create patterns and habits in their business too, or things that they think they should be doing because so and so is doing,
Yes.
or because it worked. Or it's like when you're afraid to let go of that offer that doesn't excite you anymore, but you're still running that offer because it brings in that 10 grand a month, that's no better than staying at the 9 to 5 because it feels safe. Let it
Yes,
go.
absolutely. It's always about safety. Now, let's connect what you do for yourself in the morning to this.
Mhm.
How do you think your health, your performance setting morning affects your business?
Well, I think just prioritizing gut health helps my brain be clearer and more focused for sure. The gut brain connection, right? Um, and then doing the nervous system work, I do a little 20-minute the workout witch. She's amazing. That was one of the best investments I made, was her little program. And my daughter actually does it with me at night. We get out our yoga mats and we do the simplest little body movements. And you start yawning and your stomach starts gurgling. And I think that if I wasn't prioritizing the gut health and the nervous system, I don't know that I'd be able to show up the way I do. Cutting out alcohol, gut health, nervous system, my intuition has turned into full on psychic. Like it's
Mm.
crazy what comes through now. I'm so tuned in, tapped in. Um, and I feel like because I have women investing a fair amount for my consulting, it's my responsibility to give them the best that I can give them. And so I've now decided it's actually my responsibility to be a well-rested, well-attuned, clear channel. Right? I want to make
Yes.
sure that I'm not projecting. I'm very conscious of like, well, I don't want to just tell you how to go do something that works for me and project my idea of why this works onto you. Like, what do you actually want? Right? And
Yes.
when we ourselves, if our gut health is not top of game, we got more brain fog. I think it totally cuts off our like clairs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then the nervous system, like you can't, it's the whole filling your own cup to fill others. The more that I prioritize eating good food, resting, working out, all those things, the more
Yes.
of service, the better mom I am, the better friend I am, the better daughter
Yes.
I am, the better coach I am,
Love it.
the better team leader
Yes.
for my virtual assistants and all of it, right? Like and we
Absolutely.
were so taught not to be selfish by the patriarchy. And now I
Oh,
know So anything that they taught us, just ask yourself, what's the opposite of
Just
that?
what? Yeah.
That's what's good for you.
Yeah, just go the other way. Just, oh, you said that. Let me do the actual opposite thing and it's going to work. I love that. Yes, I actually just the other day had a post where I was like, your clients didn't sign up for this. They didn't sign up for you operating at 60%. Because my whole thing is obviously high performance for women over 40. So it's like, you can't sign a client and then show up with anxiety or reschedule 5 times because you have anxiety. It's like, you have to do your due diligence to show up as your best self every day. Whatever amount of money they're investing, and especially in higher amounts, but whatever amount of money, because it goes back to that, where are my standards? Why am I operating at this standard when, and this is what I always tell women, 40s don't play. They tell you, listen, queen, you've been operating at low standards and I'm going to show it to you every single time until you realize that our standards are up here and you start behaving accordingly. And they don't wait. It will show you immediately what you ate. It will show you the next day. It will show you through your gut health. Like you said, the serotonin, right? Like what is it? 80, 90% depends on what you eat. 70 to 90% of serotonin is produced in our gut. So if your gut health is messed up, you cannot possibly feel fulfilled and happy in life. And we're not talking about cheap dopamine for those listening. Dopamine is immediate hit. And a lot of people fall for the cheap dopamine of scrolling or whatever. You were addressing dopamine earlier when you talked about the workout. Serotonin, another one, it goes deeper into satisfaction with life. And I love that you're pointing out the nervous system as well, because we can't operate in survival. Survival might have started the business because in the beginning, it's like, what's going on? But what got us here is not going to take us to the next level. And that's why I love that you do identity work as well. All of it has to go together and all of it has to start with what we do for ourselves. So what are you doing now? I mean, you named a few things, but I want to go a little bit deeper beyond that. What are you doing now that allows you to continue performing at a high level? Is it just the things you named? Is there more to it? Is it seeing where you can have higher standards? Is it setting up new goals for yourself? What is beyond that?
Oh, well, what I'm playing with right now is, does it feel juicy or not? So I am so grateful and fortunate to be in a position where, I could fall off the map for 6 months and we're fine, right? Like if I like I don't when you can run a business from a place of I don't need the money
Yes.
and you now get to do. So I'm really been working on tuning into universal guidance and just literally, use me as thy divine will and really following what's heart led and what feels exciting and what feels juicy. My embodiment mastermind coming up, right? I priced it at like 222 a month, which is like insane. I've never done anything where you have live access to me for that price point, right? But why am I doing it? I'm doing it because that feels juicy, because the idea of leading a group of women for 12 months through deep identity and embodiment work, and we're talking emotional intelligence, integrity, ethics, like the leadership, real leadership, because that's what the world needs right now. So I'm, looking at the political and social climates in the world right now. I mean, it's so glaringly obvious to me. I'm like, we can't have people making big decisions for a lot of people. We can't have unethical, selfish, greedy, lustful, evil leadership. Like the world is literally on fire because we have people with no emotional intelligence leading it, right? I truly believe, and this is not just me being sexist, this is me digging into the way the brains work. I believe we need a matriarchy. The men need a matriarchy. The children need a matriarchy, right? They did a study recently of they took a group of little girls and they put them in a house, no parental advisory, and then they took a group of little boys, all
I
the same age.
read.
Do you know that way? What did the girls
Yeah.
do? Immediately, you're the cook, you're the mom. They started organizing. Who's the leader? Who's in charge of this? Who's going to do it? Immediately, these little 8-year-old girls started organizing, and there was immediately like a little society, a functioning society. What did the boys do? Nobody's watching us. They destroyed everything.
I read about that and I was like, am I really that surprised though? But
Oh,
you're, that's to your point, exactly. And I have a 7-year-old that is, oh, like, I have to be so cautious to maintain himself for who he is while strengthening him for the world. And actually now studies show that boys are more sensitive when they're boys than girls are. And I can see that in my household. And I'm like walking this line because I feel that what you were saying, because I'm like, I have responsibility here. This is gonna be someone's husband out there. Like he needs to know certain things, you know what I mean? While maintaining his emotional maturity, while knowing about his emotions, while knowing the difference between suppressing and controlling his emotions, while knowing when to react, how to respond, all of that.
yeah.
And I think that this is true for anyone. And I think us as mothers almost feel like even more responsibility because it's like what I do now will create that future. Because I know, and you know, the work you've done on you, I know the work that I had to do to get here and how much more work, obviously, the work never ends. And it's like, I don't want him to have to go backwards and do the work. I want him to just start from where he's at and build from there. And I love that you're talking about this because I've read studies on tribes that still run on matriarchy, how they function and how peaceful and it is and how things get done. And I'm like, yeah, we
Yeah.
we we definitely need more strong women out there.
And
Definitely. Self
that's
leadership.
that's the deeper why. It's nice that I've created a business that allows my daughter and I to live the life we live. It allows me to truly take care of myself. It's nice that really good money comes in. Those are great things. I can spoil my parents, take care of them. But my really, really deep why is that I'm like, when I'm an old lady, I'm all about live now the way you want to tell the story in hindsight, right? So I do these meditations with my clients. I take them to their 7-year-old self. And it's like, what does she dream about? What does she want to tell you? What does she want to see you do? What advice does your 7-year-old had for you, right? And what's in her heart before the world told her who to be and what not to be and not to be so loud. And then we shift into like, now you're like 102 on your deathbed. It's any time now you've said your goodbyes. Like, what does she want to say to you now? If she could tell you how to live your life from today going forward to the end, what matters most? What do you want
Yes.
people? And then we're like, okay, now you've passed. Now it's your celebration of life. Who's there? What are they saying? And to me, it always comes back to the same thing of like, I just want to see, even if, 5 women can say, that woman, she helped me choose myself. She helped me choose things that shifted us into a better world for everyone, right? To moving towards that matriarchy.
Yes.
That's what I want to see on my deathbed is that we're respecting everybody equally, right? Matriarchy doesn't, I think men fear matriarchy because they think it's patriarchy flipped and that we're going to treat them the
Yeah.
way they treated us. No, you're
Yeah.
lucky that we're a little more mature than that. We're not, this isn't a revenge thing. Okay? I love men.
Yes.
I love men. My father, my 3 brothers are the most incredible. There are such good men out there that are some of the best men I know are like, oh yeah, we need a matriarchy. Like they know, right?
Yes.
And to have women like you raising sons now, like how freaking amazing is it that our souls are here right now? I know that it's an absolute shitstorm outside right now, politically, socially, everything. But my soul is like, oh, it's like I said to my daughter the other day, it's like, when you get a cut and it kind of has to get gross and nasty, gross scab in the process of healing. We're in the scabby bits right now. Like
Yeah.
that's just
Oh, I
where
like
we're
that
at,
description.
right?
Yeah.
And right now, so my work is really about, it's like, okay, I might help this woman figure out her lived experience that she can now help millions and build a brand and a story and a branding and create content and create
Yes.
programs. But really, what I'm doing is going around and helping all these women one by one become true leaders that this world
Yes.
needs, that they need, that their parents need, that their children need, that their friends need, that their neighbors need. And so it's just me, my soul running around the world like, it's like a little matchstick. I'm like, I'm gonna light you up and I'm gonna light you up and I'm
Yep.
gonna light you up and I'm gonna light, and together
Yep.
we'll take over, right? So it's like
Yes.
that's what
Love
I'm
that.
doing for the next 40 years is
Yes.
to create
Yes.
strong
You
feminine
know, I,
leaders.
I swear we're somehow related because I teach different things, but from the same fucking energy. Like I'm like in my membership right now, we're covering fuel, which is actually nutrition, but it's completely different. Like it's like, are you fueling? And I talk like that, like with as much passion. I'm like, are you fueling your future? Because you're fueling your 70-year-old self. You're fueling your 60. You're fueling your 80-year-old self. And I'm gonna be here past 100. Like I calculated. Like I calculated according to my son, by the way. I was like, okay, I'll be 107 when he's 70. I think he'll be okay at 70. So my goal is 107, and with AI, we're gonna get there.
Oh
But the
yeah.
same thing, I'm like, I don't look at food as like, oh, what's in front of me? And I'm like, is this fueling the future me? Is this fueling the tomorrow me? Because everything that we do is either fueling or completely sending us the other way. And I love what you mentioned earlier about alcohol, because we have to, especially again, 40s don't play, 40s don't play. You have to eliminate sugar and alcohol. And I've seen where my clients are like, I get downloads. And my clients don't even know that verbiage, right? They're more like, I'm getting more ideas. Is this what people call downloads? I'm like, yeah, I believe that it is, because you have cleared the channel. You have cleared. I have a client right now writing a book where it was never, she has an actual 9 to 5, and now she's realizing, okay, my 9 to 5 is just going to support what I'm about to do. And I'm like, do you see how you had to change nutrition and clear your body? She's doing no alcohol. She's doing a different nutrition plan because of her heart issues, but it doesn't matter. The point is clean her body. And it's the same thing. It's like, I, I don't even know where this came from. It's like, yes, because you're clearing up and you're hearing. And the whole, like, my word is self-leadership or stewardship, because it's like, when we become that to ourselves, that's the same way I view it. We become unstoppable, and not in this cliche way of like taking over the world. It's just that we get to create a society that fully benefits one from another rather than just me versus everyone else. So, gosh, I just love this conversation so much. Now, how do you think you taking care of yourself and you prioritizing yourself has affected all of this, or do you think it has?
Oh, it absolutely has. I mean, energy levels, clarity, right? And I think it's self-trust. Like, absolutely, there's days where, like, I don't actually love my warm lemon and salt water in the morning. I don't like it, but I chug that thing back the second I'm out of bed because of the benefits I know. It's the alkalining, right?
Yep.
But every time I do the thing that's in alignment with what I said I'm gonna do, it's like I add another brick to my wall of self-trust. And I had to rebuild that because when I left the ex, I had left him before and I went back. And so there was this big, like, can I even trust myself? I trusted him and I let my business, I kind of betrayed myself in a lot of ways and
Right.
was at a point where like I had to build self-trust. So even when I didn't want to, there's like 4 or 5 days before I get my menstrual. It's harder to get my butt to the gym. Like I love going to the gym. Like I'm like, oh, I want to go to the gym, but there's always this little period where it's like dragging my ass to the gym and I don't really want to do leg day and I hate doing quads, but I know that that's going to longevity, right? They've now figured out
Yes.
that your quad muscles is how long you're going to live. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, there's a big, like, what I want, what I truly want is to be able to have as much impact in this world for as long as I can, which means my body and my mind are going to have to be healthy and able for the long haul, right? That's the mission. So do I want to drink the lemon water right now? Do I want to go to the gym right now? Not really. It would be so much easier to make an excuse to not do those things. But my deeper why of like, no, this soul is in this body at this time with a freaking mission, and we are doing it come hell or high water. Stephanie, you are going to drink the damn lemon water, gonna get your ass to the gym, you're gonna work out those fucking quads, because your purpose here is so much bigger than that moment of laziness. And every
Yes.
time I've not given in, every time I've been like, nope, you said you're going to eat this much protein and this much fiber and drink this much water. You said you're not going to be scrolling at 11 p.m. Anytime I don't live up to my own goals, you're creating a little bit of, oh, can we trust ourselves? And if you can't
Yeah.
trust yourself, you're not going to trust other people either. And now your relationships are fucked, your energy, your frequency. So it's like taking care of myself builds a level of self trust and self leadership that then leads into a level of confidence that allows me to show up in a way that I think a lot of women, they think they're hiring me to have the 40K month business. I think that they actually want to have my excitement and my freedom and my happiness and my vitality. They're like, whatever
Yeah.
she's drinking, I'll have some of
Yes.
that. Right?
Yes.
And it's
It
so much
is. It's a big
better.
deal. It's a big deal in 40s energies. And I had a post the other day and people were laughing, but I'm like, I have to very carefully channel my energy because otherwise I have zoomies and people laugh at that. But I'm like, it's too much. It's just too much. I mean, it's like all over the place if it's not channeled, right? And I've done that for so long that I know where to channel it now. Otherwise, it's just a disaster. It's just too much energy, like for nothing. So it has to be properly channeled. And I think you're right. I think you're right about that. Not I think. I know you're right because like when people hire someone, that's what the branding is, right? Like it's not just about the program. It's what is that from that movie? Like I want what she's having. It's being around that because there's that meme that one of my clients tagged me in and I was like, this is it. Like stick with me long enough and I'm going to brainwash you to believe that you're the best version of yourself. Like I want that for everyone, but I had to get there myself. And when you talked about self-trust, I don't think people understand it at the level that I believe they really should. Because every time you do that and you don't listen to yourself, you fall for the feeling of I don't feel like it, you fall for that, you have lowered your standards. And now your brain, your nervous system knows, oh, I know how to push her buttons. And that's how the change never happens. But every time we break through, and everybody knows this, every time you break through, you don't feel like it and you do it, it feels so good after. It feels even better after than if you felt like it. You're like, oh, I feel like going to the gym. I'm going to go, and it was a great workout. But when I don't feel like it and I do it, oh, it feels like that much better. And I listened to Tony Robbins where he has his whole cold plunge thing in the morning. And somebody asked him, like, why do you do it every morning? He says, because I teach my body that when I say go, we go. And I'm like, it's so simple. And that's exactly what that is. When you say go, we go. There's no ends, ifs, buts, negotiation. It ends. You're like, I don't feel like it. But I'm crawling my way there and it's getting done. And it sets your standard. And you leave that gym feeling even better about yourself as a human, as a person than you did before that. That's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
And it's
So,
like beyond fit. So I just want to add to that for a minute.
yeah, no, go ahead.
Beyond, taking care of fitness nutrition part, like when it comes to even like business things, like self leadership, I've worked with a lot of women who so many women struggle with people pleasing or needing acceptance or validation. They're afraid to say the damn things and show up authentically because they're afraid of criticism, people disagreeing with them. They're afraid of getting canceled. And so I was having this discussion with a client the other day and I said, I want you to realize how many times the fear of doing the thing was scarier than doing the thing. Like the first time you learned to drive a car or jump into the deep end of a pool, or well, like how many times were you so afraid to do the thing? And then when it happens, you're like, oh, you know, that actually wasn't as bad as my monkey brain anticipated it being, right? So that's another layer of building trust, right? Of so many women are hiding behind their potential. Their potential's right here. They could literally just step right up to it. But the majority of women, I still believe, I think we're like 10% of the world. I still think 90% of women are standing right behind their potential, looking at it, wanting it, desiring it. But there's just so much fear to leave that job, to leave that toxic relationship, to just call yourself the damn business coach or whatever it is, to be that
Yes.
newbie in the gym on day one, to start that journey of cutting out alcohol or sugar or whatever that unknown is on the other side of it. But all of those things, so I play a game with myself of everything to me is love or fear. This is something that I've really raised my daughter on. Like we could take every human emotion that exists, throw them all at me. I can put every single one into either the love column or the fear column. When you really break down every single human emotion, they're either coming from love or fear, right? And so my game that I'm playing in life right now is, can we choose love every time? Can I look fear in the face and tell it to fucking kick rocks and choose love every single time? And when you do that, what happens is you become the master of your destiny. You start to create a business that money's just flowing, whether you're showing up harder, you don't have to hustle for it. You can really get paid to be you, right? Um, and so it's the same as like, I don't really want to drink the water. I don't really want to do leg day today. I I'm finally writing a book, which I've wanted to do for 20 years. And it's like, it's just been this 20-year veil of fear of like, but then everybody's going to know the real raw story. And like,
Yeah.
what is my mother going to think of my perception of how our
Right.
relationship was when I was little, da, 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 all the things. It's like every time we feel the fear and do it anyway. It's so cliche, but it's so true. Every single time a woman feels the fear and do it anyway, you're adding another brick to that self-trust inside of you. And that is what the whole freaking world needs more than ever right now, is women are so powerful and uh we're all very psychic. We're born to lead, but we cannot possibly lead others if we're not leading ourselves. And we can't lead ourselves if
Yes.
we can't trust ourselves to make these decisions, to take the leap and feel the fear and fucking do it anyway. So it's like
Yes.
if I was dying and it was like you have one last thing to share to the world, I would be like, force yourself to choose love every time until your reticular activating system. That's why Tony Robbins is doing the cold plunge. Because for
Yes.
me, my cold plunge is going, oh, there's fear there. And I dare myself to go the other way
To
and
do
just
the other
doing
way.
that, doing that, and doing that, right? Like it's
Yeah.
the more you can flex and build that muscle of I'm going to choose love every frickin' time. I promise you, you will wake up every day being like, holy shit, I am so lucky. I feel like the
Love it.
luckiest girl in the world every day.
And it's true, I do, and I know what it feels like to feel like the least lucky girl in the world, and it's way better on this side. I love your love and fear. My thing is not as nicely put as yours. Mine is just like if you feel the fear, that's an arrow in the other direction. So that's how I think of fear. Oh, it's showing up. What does that mean? Let's turn the other way. But I prefer love, obviously. I like how you're wording that. So obviously you've built success and you've built vitality. What do you wish that every driven, ambitious woman understands before she spends years of chasing achievement? What would you want her to know? We covered a lot, but let's single it out.
Before she spends years chasing achievement. I think it just goes back to like getting really, really honest about what you actually want, you know? Like
Mhm.
I used to think I wanted a really big house. I actually grew up in a very big house. And then I had my little witchy cabin for many years. The first house I bought was very little. And then I met the rich man, lived in the big house again, and realized I fucking hate that the kitchen's so far away from the bedroom. And now I'm living in a little condo, and I'm like, you know what? Even if you gave me $20 million tomorrow, I don't desire a big house. I know I'm supposed to want the big house. I don't want
Yes.
the big house. I want the granite and the glass and the floors. Like I want the
Right.
nice
Yes.
things. I'm all about the luxury minimalism now. It's like I own very little, but what
Yes.
I own is top notch. I drive a Jaguar. My counters are granite. I don't wear polyester. Like everything that I have
Yes.
is top notch. My cookware is stupidly expensive, right?
Yeah.
But I don't have a lot, right? So and some women might want the really big house, but
Right.
like let's forget about what Sally and Susan and grandma and mom and society and Pinterest and Instagram and your coach and your best friend. Who gives a fuck what any of them want? What do you actually want? Because for me, I realized that like, okay, I could push to consistent 100K months, but that would require me working more than 2 to 3 hours a day. And I don't really want that. So really, like I had this conversation with someone, well, you could do this and you could get to 100K. And I was like 40K a month isn't enough. I would rather stay at 40K forever and have so much time and spaciousness in my life.
Yes.
I would rather, I could upgrade my vehicle. I have a paid off Jaguar with the white leather, everything I want. Why do I need a fancier fucking vehicle?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not trying to keep up with the Kardashians at all. Like I'm really living true to my soul. I don't want the Range
Exactly.
Rover. I don't. I love my Jag, right? And so it's like I would rather right now I am getting really into stewarding wealth. The fact that you said stewarding, that's like my word this year. How am I stewarding my health? How am I stewarding my wealth? It's
Yes.
like I could go out and buy all these fancy things right now, but I'm playing the game of like this money coming in. I'm like, every dollar, and I taught this to my daughter, every dollar is a little soldier that you can send out into the world to go make you more dollars. Learn how to turn
Yes.
$1 into 10. And that is a freaking fun game to play. So
Oh,
while
yes.
I'm watching people that make less money than me go out and finance $100,000 cars, go out and get mortgages that they can barely afford, but now they can't eat the organic food. Now they can't take the trip. Now they don't have they only get 2 hours an evening with their child. And it's like, what are you really doing it for?
What
So
is it
I know
for?
it's such a long-winded way of answering your question, but I really, really, really love diving deep into people and peeling back the onion layers and helping them get super clear on like, what do I actually want?
Want.
Right?
Yes.
What's really in
Yes.
alignment with with who I want to be. And I'm personally always looking at a future cast. So like right now, for example, I know this is so crazy to some people and I love your ink. Like I love your ink. I love the way ink looks on other people. It's so sexy, it's expressive, and I have lots of tattoos
You
and I
have
started
it.
at very young. They're all getting removed. They're all getting removed right now. Like this was a tattoo. You can barely see it
What?
because every single one of my ink is getting removed. I'm paying $400 a month and going through a lot of pain to do it because when I went into a vision casting meditation, this Stephanie in her 50s, it was so fun. She was so elegant. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna play in this super elegant vibe for a little while. And I realized I didn't like the way the tattoos on my hands and neck looked when I was old. And I realized that if I'm being honest with myself, I'm okay with it now. And I loved being all covered in tattoos and I had all the piercings and stuff when I was younger. But I already know that the older version of me is going to have fun playing in the realm of more soft, quiet elegance. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I want to just fly under the radar. I used to be like, look at me. And now I'm like,
Yes.
I'd rather be the quiet woman in the back
Yes.
observing. So I'm
It's,
I'm going through I'm putting in this investment and I'm going through this pain and I'm investing these funds because I'm making every move I'm making today is for 55, 65, 75-year-old Stephanie because I already
has
know
to be.
that's why I'm going and doing leg day anyway, because I'm going to get my own ass up out the bed at 92 years old. I don't want to be a
Yes.
financial or physical burden on my daughter when I'm
Yep.
older. So I'm doing it now so that I still want to go for walks and live my best life at 85. I don't want to be sick and tired,
Yep.
in pain
Exactly.
and poor. The world is not kind to poor women.
No,
So
and most women in that like real late adulthood age are below
poverty.
poverty, especially
Yeah.
like in the United States. Yes, I love this. It's
Yeah.
interesting you mentioned that about ink because so when my kid was little, he would draw something. I'm like, "Ugh, I gotta get this tattooed on me. It's so cute. And I have a few of his drawings of me. Obviously, I have other things too.
Yeah.
But then I had multiple quantum leaps, and each one, it's making me feel like they don't belong to me. And the way I tell it to people is like, I don't regret that. I don't live in regrets. But
Mhm.
like, if this was me then, I would have never gotten them. And what I can relate it to, and I'm interested to see what you think about it, is I needed pain then. Well, it was expression, but I also needed to feel pain because I was in survival mode for so long. And now I decided to leave them because I looked in and I was like, I'm not taking this shit out. Like this would take too much pain because this version of me doesn't do pain. I used to love pain. I used to like, now I'm like, how much is that going to hurt? I don't know. I'm not going to do that. And so I don't do it. So I am kind of leaving it as a part of my image, but I feel like it's very interesting that women like us have this shift of like, they just don't belong to me anymore. It's like a weird feeling. Like I don't regret them necessarily. Maybe you do, I don't know, but it's just it's a different version. And I love that you're honoring that. Again, this is what I love about these conversations is there's no right answer when it comes to what is it that you want. There's the right answer to doing basics, nutrition, sleep, exercise, but there's no one way to do pretty much anything else.
Yeah.
And everything else has to stem from what do I actually want rather than what do I think I should want. Like you said, I wanted to become, I'm like you, I'm a minimalist. We have a pretty spacious house, but I said, before we moved here, and it's a dream, before we moved here, I said, I want a house that has so much space, but no furniture. So when people walk in, they almost wonder where the hell is her furniture? And that's what it is right now. I play ball with my kid in the hallway because I'm like,
I love that.
I want space. And it doesn't have to make sense to everyone, and that's okay. And I think that that's one of the major things I want women to understand through these conversations is basics you gotta do because 40s do not play. They want you to up your standards. But once you step into that and you start developing you start trusting you start thinking about what is it that I actually want? Maybe you've never asked yourself that. Why am I building this business? Why do I want these, so many zeros on my bank account? Then we're getting to that very individual work. And that's what you are bringing out in people. With that said, what are you working on these days? Where can people go to get more information? I'll have all the links in the videos or below the videos, but tell us more about what you're working on.
Right now I'm getting ready to, in September, the Soul Biz Embodiment Mastermind is going to launch off in September when it's time for us to go back inward. It's going to be a 1 year journey. So the reason why it's 1 year is because each month we're going to have a layer and then they're going to have 30 days to really consciously work on that layer. So the first 6 months is going to be unraveling, unbecoming, removing. And then the second half, 6 months, is going to be like now that they're clear on the new identity, what they're stepping into, the why behind everything, we're going to start to add pieces back in and rebuild. So the be do have is how my framework that I always work on. But it goes back to the why. I want to quickly like revert back for a quick second.
Yes.
Why am I removing the tattoos? Because I realized through therapy that all of my tattoos were armor. They were proving something to the world. They were needing to be seen, needing to look tough, needing to whatever. And so going through all of the pain, I agree. I'm like, well, I've come way too far to be uncomfortable. But I'm choosing this because um it's like I get to let go of all that armor now, right?
Mhm.
And coming back to, for some weird reason, to look, to imagine my naked body in the mirror in its purest form with no modifications. I've stopped doing the Botox. I'm really leaning into like, whole, I used to want a nose job. I'm like, can I actually just, I'm challenging myself to fully love my most authentic, raw, organic, truest self, all with the boobs starting to sag and the wrinkles, and like, can I
Right.
love that even, right? So it's the why
Love
behind
that.
everything. And that's really part of the journey that I'm going to take these women on in this 1 year mastermind. It's going to be so cool. I'm going to get them to do an intro video of like who they are, what they value, what they desire to, at the beginning. And then I'm going to get them to do videos at the end. And then they're going to watch those at the end and they're going to
Oh
see
my gosh.
how much did you change. And like my goal is like, I want these women a year later to look at the video of them a year prior and be like, I don't even know that person
No,
anymore.
it's, oh, and they won't even remember making that video because you know when you step into the new identity, half the memories are like gone.
Right.
Yes, I love that. So where can people find out more about that?
They can, my sales page, I went and launched it before I even made a sales page. I think it was like 10 o'clock at night. We're doing this because it came through. So there is a sales page coming, but at this point, I've been posting about it on my Facebook, on my Instagram. People can just DM me and ask me, and
Okay,
I can send them the sales page as soon as it's ready. I've always
perfect.
got private coaching open for the right people. And I
Okay.
am going to be launching a Fix Your Broken offer. It's going to be evergreen. That's launching in the fall as well. And that's for anyone that already has an online business and a brand, but they don't really know why it's just not really scaling the way they want it to. All in tune with our combo. Fix Your Broken offer is taking them right back to basics, to the
Right
market
back to
research. We're
basics.
going to go right to the beginning because I've found after 7 years of business coaching thousands of women, most people skipped some of the most basic
Yes,
fundamentals, and that's why they're not
yeah,
attracting the ideal clients and making the money. So, Fix Your Broken offer is literally that. We're going to take what
love
you've
it.
built, I'm going to dissect the hell out of it. We're going to find out what's broken, we're going to fine tune it, and then you're off to the races.
I love it. Well, I think the safest way for people then to do is connect with you on Facebook or Instagram and then go from there. Thank you for being here today, everybody listening and watching. I also have a current offer of a 3-minute brain performance reset toolkit so you can stay sharp and energized all day. I'll have information about that in the comments. Find Stephanie, find me if you are not connected yet. And obviously, I hope you learned a ton from this because I love being in your presence, Stephanie. Thank you for being here today, everybody.